So you rather do that all the process by yourself than to allow a trying man to help you. That's the part where I say, ladies, we have to do better. We have to do better. You have to figure out a better way to manage your anger outside of just stripping a child away, stripping a father away from their child. You got to, because it's not healthy for the kid. Because that's what we need to be thinking about right now. Not you and your feelings and how you feel about your baby daddy. Because at the end of the day, you made him your baby daddy. And he made you his baby mama. So y'all have to figure out a better way to be able to cope and do co-parent. So everything, and I'm going to say this again because everything is not just about money. Yes, you need money. Yes, you do. You need money to take care of a child. But also, there's other things that you have to pour into a child outside of finances. They mental need to be poured into. Their soul needs to be poured into. Their heart needs to be poured into. They need to be taught. They need to have daily affirmations every day, not just from mom, but from dad too. The kids are the most tender creatures that there are. You have to pour into a child so much more than we do. With all this bickering and arguing and fighting and carrying on back and forth, at the end of the day, that kid slipped through the cracks. And now they out here talk about how they mama this and they daddy this and this, that, and the third. So we got to do better with that. We just got to do better. We have to do better. Because at the end of the day, the psychological effects that they have on the kid is terrible. All right? So we gotta we have to break the generational bad habits. We have to break the generational bad habits that was put on us. Let's just face it. The older generation love to just throw out, oh, well, it happened, get over it. No, how? Like, this is a whole different generation. No, we talk about stuff. We talk about our feelings. We talked about what Uncle such and such did to Aunt Ola. We talk about that type of stuff. We talk about how such and such was touching and doing this. We talk about that type of stuff because we're not just brushing things underneath the rug. Because those are traumatizing things. And for the older generation to sit and act like our feelings are not valid is crazy to me. We're going to talk about this. We're going to heal somebody today. One conversation at a time, somebody is going to be healed. Because at the end of the day, healed people attract healed people. Broken people attract broken people. Okay? In order for a relationship to even work, both of y'all got to be whole. So then y'all come together, y'all bring y'all wholes together, and then y'all can have a wholesome relationship. But if one person is broken and the other person is whole, what is that broken person going to do to the whole person? Eventually, they're going to tear them down. Okay? So we got to be mindful of that. But a lot of the times, the reason why I give, they always say I'm so hard on the women. The reason why I am the way I am when it comes down to us as women is because we set the tone, right? We set the tone for our daughters. They're going to look at what we doing and they basically going to just mimic what we doing. Some, not all, but majority, yeah. They're going to look at what we're doing. They're going to mimic what we're doing in their lives. What do we do? As we grow up, you basically do what it is that you're taught in your household. You probably grocery shop like your mama. Wash dishes like your mama. You probably run your household like your mama. It's a lot of different things we probably do like our parents until we break out of those bad habits. I had to break out of, wait, hold on. I ain't like the way that she was treating me. I didn't like it when my mama was doing it. So what made me think that my kids gonna like it when I'm doing it to them? And that's when I started to change the way that I parent. Because all we're doing is mimicking what was before us. And then it be either times 10. Nowadays it's times 10. For sure it's times 10. But yeah, I say the things that I say to women, about women, however you want to say, is because we have to do better. We have to do better because we have kids that's looking up to us, not just our kids, but other people's kids that's looking up to us, that's going to mimic what it is that we're doing. And if we're not putting out we're not putting out positivity and showing them something positive, then what are they going to do? They're just going to navigate to the negativity. Okay? So we have to start consistently telling our kids or telling we have to start putting positivity into the air when it comes down to these kids. We got to start pouring into they values, they bodies, they minds. You know, what they find valuable. Because at the end of the day, it affects their future. It do. Because let's face it, a lot of us grew up in households where the women already had kids. They was young. They wasn't married. They had 2 or 3 baby daddies already. They was probably chasing behind the 3rd baby daddy while working on the 4th baby daddy. Nobody really was teaching any young girl values and morals and respect and what she should be. What else about you is valuable? Because what I was taught, what I seen, men valued what? Your body, how you looked. And then that was projected off, and then you start to think that that's the only thing that that's the only thing that makes you valuable. It's how you look. Because the women that helped raise me, that's the only thing they was valuing. They wasn't saying go to school and you could go to college and you could be a great writer, or you can be a scientist, or you can be you can even be a hairdresser. You can own your salon. They wasn't talking like that. The only value that was placed upon a woman back then, at least when I was growing up, was how she looked. Because that's what the women that I was raised by, I guess that's what they was taught. That's why I give them grace. I give you grace. And it's okay. I understand, because you didn't know no better. You didn't know any better. You only knew what you knew when you taught what you knew. So I can't even be mad at you about that. I'm not mad at you about that. But now that I know better, I teach my kids that, hey, it's more to you than just how you look. You need to, internally, you need to be a good person. You need to have morals. You need to have respect about yourself. You need to have confidence. You need to know you could be whatever it is that you want to be on this earth. The world is your oyster. All you got to go out there and do is grab it. Whatever you want, you can have it. But if you only value your looks, that's only going to get you so far. Because what about the inside? See, these little things that a lot of people overlook, myself included. I'm never going to exclude myself out of anything, myself included. I didn't transition my parenting until maybe my youngest daughter was about 5. My oldest daughter was about 5. So it's like at some point we have to acknowledge that this ain't working. It ain't working. It ain't working. Our daughters are growing up to be whores. Everybody want to be a TikTok influencer, or a baby mama of an athlete, or a rapper, or so when you do have the chance to talk to your kid or to say anything inspirational to your kid or whatever, just have those conversations with them, especially your daughters, because the internet and the music is raising our kids. And sometimes it don't even matter if you're the best parent ever. I mean, you put your kid in everything. They gonna be who they gonna be. Regardless on anything, your kid they're a human being. They have their own mind. They're gonna be whoever they wanna be, regardless on how much you pour into them. But what you need to do as a person, as a parent, as somebody with a conscience, is make sure that you did everything that you felt in your power, everything in your power, you did it to make sure, or to provide, to provide a better life for them. So they had those options to be better. They just chose to be who they are.